So I thought I'd take a peek at Coronaville. It just turned 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm looking to buy stuff on limits. I lost about $500, about $560. So another rogue wave. Before I went to sleep, I put a bunch of tickets in here, and I really so the guy that was saying I was trading too small, it could have been worse. And I'm just not really able to see these tickets when I drop. I'm on the other side of the room, so I grab these and I just throw them in like this. This is S&P 500. I don't think I could trade these scripts here, but I would just keep throwing limits in. So this sell-off here, you'd have to keep doing the trade over and over because this sell-off here may have crushed you 500, and if you weren't there to see it come flying back into. I created a 34. This is also the awesome oscillators on a 34. So this is a linear weighted 34. If anybody's in indicators, on the 4-hour chart here, the frequency of trading on here is pretty much about as good as it gets for not having to overthink it. You can make the claim of directionality. I just saw ICT talking about, well, first you got to figure out what direction. Yeah, I guess. But the reversal down here is so brutal, and it is in the people that were able to pull the trigger when it stabbed into this moving average got the best fill. I mean, if you could have a robot, so somebody was mentioning a guy that's building a robot, and so I've got really simple ideas for robots. So you could have a 34 linear weighted trend bot on the 4-hour charts, and it's going to have to be, there's going to be 10 versions of that. So this is the big reveal, is that you need a team of bots that are doing a simple task that you can see. Oh, look at this guy. He's a little bit too, take him to the 8-hour chart or put him on. I'm sure that it might be easy to write a robot for MT5. I don't even know. I really have no clue. As far as the ATR bot, at the very top of the script has the actually spelled out settings. You can change the size. You can change the delta, which is how far away the buy and sell stops when you're going to break out hedges. Like, so it's non-directional breakout systems are objective trading. There is no spin. There is no fundamentals. There is like, I think they're out to get me. Just because they're out to get you doesn't mean they stopped you out or whatever. And you just got to lay in this limit system, you're basically putting fish lines in the water, or you're netting fish, but you're going to snag that. That line is going to grab an organic piece of rock on the bottom of the ocean. Sure, you could have scanned for it, but what if something just fell in the water? So when the news comes out or there's coronavirus insanity, that is the tipping point when we see the vacuum fill. So the rivers bend. This is also the chaotic Bill Williams thing about the river bends and then it picks up and then it floods and now it goes straight, and it goes through that whole cycle of weaving and unraveling. So the unraveling is the trend, in a sense, the compression, the pent up demand, the pent up overstocked or overbought. Sure, overbought and oversold exists, but only in time. By themselves alone, and without actually structural reference to the history of price. So if you could, that's why they came up with market profile, because they decided, we'll just take each day and create like a very fancy candle where the body, the bulge of your profile is all the same thing. It's like most of the activity, open to close, it's like nothing ever changed. And the very profound moves, and yeah, you could trade this all day long, make money, right? And that would be your system. You just trade this shit. I mean, you could know about structure. So this is the argument. Are you just going to say, well, dude, then just build a 34 linear weighted EMA? Yeah, but is this third pullback here this is supposed to be a buy according to the system right now? Now, the workaround is buy one at the market. We're near the river. It's in an uptrend. I think we all know we could go stop hunting this goober, and I just don't know why people want to make this so complicated. Well, it's a trade block. Dude, it's just whatever the fuck. It's really old prices that haven't been hit yet. Yeah, the name of this robot is really old prices that haven't been hit yet. And when they hit them, it ain't going to matter that you got a bias on your 34 linear weighted moving average. You could take the histogram of this on closing prices, and we can do divergences all day long with a MACD that you set at 134.1. So anybody there's nothing about no nonsense just irks the shit out of me. Dude, there's nothing wrong with this indicator. It's your brain. There's nothing wrong with this system of trading I have right here. And forget waiting for divergences. Just be a real crude hard ass that trades at the market on the 4-hour chart, S&P 500, and that's all you do. Sure, you're not going to have the dramatic moves that everybody's hoping, oh, like that was worth it. No, because it's a drudgery of all these fucking tickets. Look, I'm up 17 cents. Digging out of this hole. But this is work. I mean, this is like, I look at this like air mattresses I've set here to be, because I am a nice person, really, believe it or not, and I feel bad for the market, so I kind of want to catch the, things tied to the railroad tracks. I want to rescue her by creating a pillow of limit orders. So the Cinderella's going to come down into the, and then she's going to get a little bounce house going, and I'm going to scalp to here. That's the first phase. And maybe it becomes bounce house all the way down. So I'm prepared for either the rate of change being X, and I can choose that, because if I put an order this deep that lasts this long, I'm saying that I will give this market, it has to scramble to get down there. But since my ticket only lasts for 12 hours, if I have a 12-hour ticket, and I know this price here, when the market's here, I'm placing orders here. It doesn't matter. Like when the market's here, yeah, I know people are selling there. It may not be me. If I miss that entry, I'm like, well, what's the next fucking shoe to drop? They're going to go after this low. When I say they, now that's a bad thing to say too, because I guess I'm falling into that same trap of like, well, them and they, it's a stop hunt. Yeah, no. Okay, it's just the market's caving in. Whether you're standing on the shoreline, if you're standing on the shoreline when the river caves in, then yeah, you're in that position. But if you're not near the river, you don't even have a position on the market. You're just looking at the account, waiting to get filled maybe, or waiting to get stopped out of something you're in, or waiting to, just one more. You can see the kind of like, okay, it's midweek. We're coming into Wednesday. Are we going to pull this back? Or are we going to take out? Everybody, I'm sure, is thinking the same thing, but that's not what's fueling it. It's not that everybody's thinking the same thing. The market is just a static, willing participant because we've already laid this track. The one thing that No Nonsense said that was very true, he says, yeah, once this has been established, this low, this will be here forever and ever and ever. That's why I don't understand why he doesn't believe in support resistance. There'll be support until the cows come home. We used to say that stuff before we got very vulgar. Until the cows come home. And I don't know if the cows ever came. I don't know if they ever left home. I guess you keep them down on the farm so you can make cheese out of them. And so I went to the supermarket today. I can tell that the end of the trend's coming with Corona. I can already tell because people are wearing masks, and they have a shield now. Not a don't break and steal my money bank loose site, just a little thin. It's so cute. It's like, I guess it could have gone for cellophane, and that would have kind of been a special effect. Like, hey, the barista's kind of got a little bit like, some of that, one of those apps, one of those templates from my editor on it. Yeah, photo. That's what they need to do is, dude, go all the way. I mean, I don't want to be crude, but there's those places you go where it's just only certain things are. It's a very narrow view. So that stuff. But look at this thing pulled back to this. It's just now this is where patience comes in because it's the 4-hour chart. And this setup, now, if they ram it down, people say, well, they're trapping the trend traders. I mean, this trend, and you always wonder, how long can the trend go on? And is it ever going to trigger my perfect entry? So I think with the rule set as described yesterday, that if you close above the 34, well, this thing's pointing down. This is a rare event. You get in there. You get in there. That's the only two trades from that rule set. Now we're piercing into this. But if you buy here, you got to be willing to buy here and all the way down, because it's going to take about 34 4-hour bars to convince that line to start curling down. And when it started to curl down here, people, and this is a stab into that price, but it has not closed into it. If you close above the first pullback, you could buy, right? But the better trade is when it does a rocket move into that, because then it fits the criteria of more over, higher at a lower price than this price. So you get an inversion. If you ran an RSI on this, you would see this is a very strong move. And but it's too fast. It's unsustainable. Even this one here, the person that sold this because they thought, well, this is the 618 from here. If I went to the 1-hour chart, I'm sure I could find some fib. It wouldn't take much. I go to the 15-minute chart and say, look at, right. So here, this could be a 38% of that whole price pulse from close to close, literally on the clock. The way this stuff turns on the 4-hour, I can see why people think it's conspiratorial or they think it's rigged. Well, in a sense, because these markets, look at this sharp turn on the 4-hour. Look at that. Boom, 4-hour, boom. Now, if a robot's pulling the trigger, and this is say a 1-hour chart, and we had this much velocity, and this is what trend traders are, this is their setup. Because they're saying, I only take shorts. We make a kind of in other words, no nonsense gets in with confirmation upon confirmation. So he has to wait for it to close strong up on that day. But in a downtrend, you just keep on sell. You don't sell that down, that baby down move. Only sell hard thrusts up. Because this hard thrust up and this hard thrust up above, it's crossed over. Even cloud traders, it's all the same fucking shit. The cloud guys are using a 56 simple moving average, some bullshit, right? And they offset it. Inside the robot, there's also the shift thing. I haven't played with that yet, but there is a guy that I did find on YouTube. If I can find him again, he was an MT4 guy, and he says, listen, you could have a random entry button. I'm like, no shit. And he ran one, and it made okay money, because it doesn't matter what the fuck you do. It's how many times are you pulling the trigger, how tight your stop, and how many tickets you have stacked into that one idea. Nobody takes a painting and says, oh, I'm going to do 2 lines. Dude, it's a million fucking lines to build the account or to make money from all this bullshit. And, watching these people at the store, I mean, seriously. So I don't know. I'm ready to have them drone drop me a fucking Starbucks. This is just a big trick to introduce drone drops. And it's a modern problem. Now I feel like we just went back about fucking we're going back to like technology, like, hey, you got a crayon? I don't know, I gotta write a note. Don't even fucking. So it's like the kind of the sci-fi nightmare where people have just become so fucking dependent. I could see it coming when they had those auto dial phones. I go, fuck that shit. I'm going to forget your phone number. So I memorized the patterns, but then that didn't work because somebody asks for your phone number and you go, can I look at a phone so I can see the pattern? I got to read I need to decode what I'm thinking. So I'm visually looking at the market as a pattern. All I see is patterns. Well, because you don't want to. I mean, you see a spider, you kind of know. What the fuck? It's not a good pattern. Especially, it's beyond 4K. Like reality's beyond 4K, and the screen you kind of read into it here. And the nice thing about trading is you don't need a bunch of res. All you need is like these block. For me, I just need these. That's the range of that time frame, and that's the closing price on top of it. And I put a moving average on there. So, do you just keep pulling the trigger like an idiot every time it pulls back? Well, I mean, it's like I said, that's how many times you're going to do that trade. And is there a better setup? And the next thought is, well, I like this system. Can we put it on the? Yeah, sure. When the market's doing this thing, but when it's going sideways and it's just bullshit sideways, no. So you had it. If you could have traded these kind of moves, and those are tremendous moves in the S&P. This atypical. So look at the other time frame here. I'm going to go to the daily, the dreaded daily chart. So, you're just trying to slow down your entry, and this is the idea of your indicators catching up. But this waiting for all this confirmation is silliness. It's complete silly. I took a short today. But dude, you got to take like fucking 80 shorts and drop 20. And then peel away another 29. And then you can go, at the end of the day, I'm up. If you're up at the end of the day, it just like, so there is something between like not trading and trading. You can be slightly in. You can't fucking afford to buy a 1K? Well, I don't even. Like, I've met so many traders, I say, well, can you just pull it? No. Why bother? It's like, but this is that thing where you can barely participate, but your subconscious thinks you're in. Like, you're aware of the trade. Even if you bought $1 lottery ticket, aren't you curious to scratch the fucking thing off? Now, here, the scratch off period is like out of your control. You don't get to see when. So they're going to scratch you out because they stopped you out of that one lousy 20 pip stop. You lost $2 plus the shipping and handling. And you're like, okay. Wow, those fuckers. Now, if you're really a directional trader, you'd be like, meh, still in an uptrend. And if that's the case, then every 4 hours it's down, you pull the trigger. So you're actually going against what everybody would tell you. Don't add to a loser. Okay, but what is a loser? It's not a winner. Everybody's so binary. Dude, you just slightly got corona. You just have a little bit. And you've been, it was on you, you're immune to it. Maybe you're not fragile. Maybe you're not like just some walking around open wound ready to get sick at any drop of a hat. I mean, we've all seen people. And I know there's some marathon runner that got sick. Whatever. Dude, life is risky. Car crashes are like 3 million. I mean, 1.2 million every year in the United States. Probably lower now, right? Because nobody's driving. Hey, that worked out pretty good, guys. That's the fear is these goobers are going to go, hey, you got some more M&Ms? Hey, look, I'm waiting for another check. They shut it down, the economy. Economies are overrated. Yeah, I guess so. If you're home trading, you don't even notice really too much, do you? I mean, you're like kind of spooked by other people's behavior. But it's like being in a trade you didn't choose to be in. It's like somebody put you in a movie. Hey, guess what? Isn't that movie, Jim Carrey? Hey, by the way, we've been filming you. Thanks. Nice. And then, we have to, we need a real ID by October. Oh, I'll put that off. Boy, they already was like, what's that song by Elton John? You already had me roped and tied. Sugar Bear. So, yeah, they're just kind of like, hey, that's going to be just fine. And, I mean, last time I lost my driver's license at the airport. Oh my God, what a drama. They asked me shit like, well, can you tell us the birth date of your ex-wife? I'm like, dude, I can't tell you what color eye she had. Get the fuck out of here. And I was like, what? Are you serious? And then I said, oh my God, it's the same name as my mom's name. And I go, which one are you talking about? And the guy's like, okay, wait, you know what? And I was trying to help. He goes, don't try to help me. And he was talking to some guy. But I know people that they pay for that service because I've been in that situation before. They're talking to some guy. Wrong answer. Okay, take him away. Really? Dude, I just want to stay home. I just want to stay home. You can have all this bullshit. Well, people have already stayed home. Netflix. Who's going out? It's called cocooning. A guy wrote a book about that 25 years ago. It was called Cocooning. Nobody's going out. They fucking YouTube. Like, dude, as soon as they invented delivery pizza, I think it was like the 60s, you could order a pizza in the 70s, and some guy brings it to you, and like, oh, dude, this is like camping. This is like being camping. You know, who doesn't like to go camping? And people buy these boats, and the fuck, they buy some $1 million boat. Next thing you know, their wife murders them on the boat. His insurance was high. Yeah, we could take advantage of him. He had that 34 linear weighted. Grandpa gave me the 34 linear. It's a secret. The no nonsense guy. Well, I'm giving up the holy grail here. Just a moving average, people. Just simmer down. It's gonna be okay. Now, granted, if I switch the time frame to the daily, you're gonna go, I don't think I like the 34 linear weighted. Hence the problem, you know. But then we could get out the and of course, no nonsense says he's been down a road that is like it's not a unique road of taking and putting a moving average on an indicator. Okay, so but you're going to more and more you're going to see divergences between those things, but you're putting a delay on it. And then you're catching half of that wave to get the leading edge of it. So it becomes a leading indicator, and it could have you over trading if you're thinking, oh yeah, you're anticipating because once you see how momentum behaves with a smoothing device like a moving average, you're like, yeah, I got it. I see what's going on there. Just like the low frequencies are a longer to unfold. So the high frequency, if the market's vibrating very quickly on the 15, it's almost untradeable if you're running a Fibonacci stop, like 13 pip stop, and you're like, dude, they just keep knocked out of this thing. I can't even fucking, every time I turn around, I'm getting stopped out of this thing. Yeah, the guppy would be, if something was going with like this, the vote they had. Who's got a trade plan where they can fucking buy 150 pips apart for the next 400 pips for the next 4 hours? And why would they even fucking drop that? You're probably never going to get filled. If you keep dropping that every 4 hours, yeah, Robot could do it. The broker might get pissed off, but it keeps on trolling for this, I guess, a mini black swan, right? A black, like a black mouse or something, whatever's the flamingo, right? Instead of a pink flamingo, how about orange flamingos, right? The Orange Flamingo series, I'll write a book like that. I mean, anybody can write these. It's so funny. Anybody can write a book and then go on some speaking tour. And these are abstract. You know, people come up with ideas, but you still need a practical execution of this stuff. You need to at least have 3 tickets. If anything in the world, have a entry at the market, entry on a stop, and entry on a limit. This way, you could blame the entry at least. So you do need somebody to blame in a sense. In other words, not blame, but you have to just say, I made that decision. It could be totally wrong, and I'm just going to go with that. But I'm going to make 4 other decisions. So who's playing one-handed cards? You're going to play, even in tennis, they have like, right? And then you get, okay, well, next game, and there's a round, or there's no fucking, I mean, baseball has like 9 innings, I guess, unless you go extra. I mean, there's plenty or even the horse races have like 9 races. There should be plenty of room to find a sweet spot. So if I went to the track, I'm thinking I'm going to go for like, I'll bet to show. You know, I you're kind of betting to show. I don't know if you're about horse racing, but first there's win, place, show. Win is top, place is second, and show, they just showed up 3rd place. If you're always going for, like, you have that would be your edge. That would be your edge. So the edge here is that exposure and um, dollar risk fitted to the instrument you're trading. So if the guppy, the pound, pound against the yen, is going berserkoid, you're like, okay, time to get out the 40 pip grid. So I could put a 40 pip buy limit in like this, and it looks like this. So if I say I'm going to get in 5K, big wide stop, I'm going to risk more than I'm going to make. I'm risking 40 to make 20. And I'm going to come in just like this. It's 8 hours. And that is a logarithmic 5K, or like a geometrical, because it starts to get in martingale at the bottom here. So I know that costs $40. I know this costs 30, but I'm going to put it in a different spot. So I'm going to build my plunge, catch a falling knife tickets just like this. Now this is more aggressive. This is a 10K in a 36 pip range. So this is going to risk $50 to make 70, but we don't know. We're not going to put it at the same price. That is the trick. Do not duplicate a bad trade. And this will just naturally stack up with a natural martingale down here. Now, what if it, everybody asks this, and it is the next obvious question is, what if we go ripping through all these tickets? Then you lost whatever you dropped. It's a classic kind of this is very simple. So this, you're down, you crush. Okay, but would you be willing to buy here? And I would make these tickets last for 12 hours or a whole day, because I know that I don't care if this gets blown out. If they stop me out and then we start to crush into here, and now we start to get in, we start to martingale in because we went flat maybe from here. You have to determine, in that sense, you're actually like a hedge trader, because you're like, okay, they stopped me out. I have very tight stops here. It pulled back, but it didn't go up, and all the bulls are hoping it goes up and clears all this vacuum out. That's got to be their dream, right? And the bears are hoping that once they start to go for new lows here, the fuel will come from people that think, okay, so there's three people here. There's the guy that thinks, well, as soon as it takes out that, I'm just going to go short. There's a guy that already went short. There's a guy that went short on this rally on a limit. And there's a guy that just pulled the trigger just now, and there's a guy that wants to make sure it's really going down. And as it starts to cave in here, now, each three of these guys, in a perfect world, they all get out at the near the same place, or this is the thing, is that the guy that sold at the market may have sold two at the market, and he's going to scale out of his. And see, it's so complicated, because now, which guy do you want to be? Well, if you keep waiting for the forward charts to get really quiet, like this is the beginning of the week. I'm sorry, this is Asian session. So if you rolled this smash up into here, you could have either, the winning trader is obvious. He bought right here in Asia. This kind of stop. We have the same thing in the euro dollar. Most markets do this, where it's called the market maker entry, where they take it into a fresh price, just like this one here. So if you had a buy limit on this 10 pip grid, so this 20 pip thing, you had a big fat tickets in there. It bounced about 20 pips, so people scalp that. Then then this hard down candle, I think it's obvious that that's a down candle. Even if it's not, it's a big candle. And if I zoom out one level, it's going to just make these pure bars, which is a little bit more challenging in a way, because your eye's drawn to these kind of like spinning top. But granted, this is a good entry, but if you had a 10 pip stop on that, they stopped you out before you got to ride that all the way down, and that's just beautiful. It's a beautiful trend. I mean, that's the day traders that are saying, well, yeah, sell up here and it could have sold here, and then this is just a beautiful trend. And certainly on the 15-minute chart, there are any bullish candle on the 15, you just pull the trigger like an idiot. Sell. Now you're kind of pyramiding into this thing, and at some point you've got to get out of this trade, because this may look just like, wow, what a great trade. Yeah, but you kind of wanted to stop selling maybe here and just trail a stop and try at one point. So if it's a very fast market and you've already got your targets predetermined, you're already on that trade, and you're just like, okay, we're out. This is not a trade that I'm in. And maybe you're on the sidelines flat. Now, ultimately, you're making money from the market moving at the rate of change, because you put expirations on these tickets. Plus, what is the range? So if you don't mind, the most conservative thing to do is put a 5K in a 40 pip range and risk $40 to make $20, because you're at 80 pip stops here, and it's logarithmic. So this is the most conservative entry on here, and you could put these end to end and cover 120, like 3 racks of that. It's going to cover $100 of risk. $100. I mean, there's no guarantee that you're going to fill them just because you dropped them. So if you covered here and here and here, these 3 racks, yeah, you look at this 1 hour chart, you're like, can they really bust this low out? Maybe in London. So that's what you saw there last night. London opens. Hey, you know what? Vacuums are just a free for all. It just doesn't. There's no respect for your moving average or anything. It doesn't respect fibs. There's no respect when a market's on fire. That's why it blows all that stuff out. And people would say, oh, the market makers are just, they know you just about they can see everybody getting out their fib tools, because they got them secret drones that watch people trade now. I mean, you think they're going to let you win? But yeah, it's pretty harebrained when you just have your tickets sitting there and they come crashing in your tickets, and then it reverses, or maybe it doesn't. So maybe they stop you out. But I guess that's the fun for me. I think, hey, here's the 20 pip range of 7K. Yeah, let's go for it. Here, let's put another. But I don't want to duplicate the trade, so that's why I don't want to delete these arrows. And I usually leave them up. And I could make different color arrows, but I made these black. All the limit ones, actually the ones that are buy limits on a double click come in at blue, and the sells come in at red. But these are black all day long. So if I want to sell this thing above this round number, I would just drop them right on that, and here they come in. So that's a pretty good ticket too. That's 7K and a 20 pip range. So it's very conservative. You are risking $50 to make $14. Now this is the worst ratio, but it's the highest probability trade. You could scalp that. You're trying to make $14. Now 10 of these stacked exactly for that trade is $140, but what if you stagger it? So, and what if this is so far away from the market, it doesn't make sense? How close are you going to get to it? So the closer you get, the quicker the expiration. So if you put a sell limit above here, I'm going to go 15 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours. Yeah, this rack might last all week. You can always pluck those off, and I don't typically do it because I don't want to ruin the ratios. I could drag one of these, and the stop and the limit will ride along with it. But I set mine to, you got to hold down the Alt key to move these tickets. When you first load the program, it's not going to be set up like that. So you kind of got to go to options, go to charts. And you got to make sure that this says use Alt key to drag the levels of your tickets, your entry. And I also make the, you also have to set it, I'm assuming people know, you got to turn on the robot if you're using, even if you're using these scripts, you've got to go to expert advisors and put on automatic trading. Also, you have to go to trade, and you have to commit to the risk of one-click trading. So that's cool. And then you have that, and then you're good to go. And I always put my objects on. It should be like 0 here. I like to have it so whatever my mouse is at, it's 0 pixels away from moving these objects. I guess it's set at 10, which I don't get that. So I kind of want to do it right on it, but maybe I can make it at like a 2 or something. I don't know if you're allowed to make 2, but I always set that at 0, and then go back to the program. So we're looking for a market to plunge into my tickets. Typically, as my favorite trade is just dumb shit trade, and let's scalp a little bit on a rally tonight on the euro. There was a little baby scalp. The short side, it's easier for me to see these buys. So I went to whatever currency I thought I could place some buy limits. So here on the British pound, I put some in. So we could get filled on these tickets. We could plunge into that, and that's just dumb trading. It's 20 pip grid on this though. That is 20 pips. I gotta be careful because some templates I have at 20 pips and some are at 10, because on 10 pips here would have been just like too hard to. We're right at the teetering here at the round number at 24. Doesn't mean anything. It's just a number, but it's a way to say, hey, 20 pips down is going to be a retest of this, and look at the respect we have for the 20 pip grid here. People say, look how that thing turns around at 20. Well, only because I could put up a 50 pip grid and you go, wow, look at that. It turns right at the 50. But not actually, it doesn't quite do that because this is the 60. So it's the frequency of trading that you could see there. Because people would say, yeah, look at this thing. It's banging between 20 pips up, 20 pips down. So it keeps you aware that, oh, that'd be $2. And I'm like, yeah. Okay, this is 40 pips down. So if I sold even a confirmation entry where people put sell stops here, I mean, right, they're making money, granted. I mean, but it does come back to that floor. So the guy that buys here, because he bought that stop hunt, he trades it up here. He trades that ride. That's his trade. He's trying to make 20 pips. You know, $2,000 on 10 standard lots. You're gonna make that. That's your trade. Of course, if you're gonna lighten up your load and not trade so big, you can buy here. So you're buying like a 40 to 60 pip window. It comes back. People do scalp out there. You can see that the rejection. Why did it turn around there? I know it's not exact, but also it did fill this vacuum here. So gets to there and then boom again. So I'm already thinking, well, there's going to be a cave in and I'm going to buy it. It's about a 40 pip cave in too. This thing really rocks and doesn't quite take out this low. This blue line is kind of bracketing as we go here. There is pressure building up here. There's buy stops up here, but I'm thinking, hey, you know what? This is a bigger cavern. This is a more looming vacuum here. I want to buy this loomer. This is a deep loomage. That, and so all you're left with right now is the bulls want to believe that this is a flag or a pennant or a ascending triangle. All this bullshit. Dude, there's got to be a million fucking pattern names. Well, that's 3 marching angels. That's 3 drunk hookers, I call that entry there. Yeah, it's a pretty cheap entry. You just kind of get in here and, you've got big wide stops on that, though. You're not going to be with her all night, are you? It's a scalp. So, yeah, it's dirty, but, it's dirty trade, that scalping. You're not one of those guys that scalps those rock and roll tickets, are you? Look at that. Look at that beautiful plunge. Now, as this thing comes in, you're buying, you can literally buy in this 20 pip range, you can buy 200K without repeating your entry in a 5 decimal broker. That's scaling in. Every pipette. But you'd be surprised. All you need to have is your 20 pip retracement and get it focused in this. This is pretty conservative. I don't think they can even fill these tickets, honestly. We could just dip into this little concavity here for a little bit and then go the other way. Well, how do you know you don't? That's the beauty of it. You just don't. It's nice. I guess it's a pretty romantic sport trading because you just don't know. It's kind of like dating a psycho babe or a spazzarella. It's like the girl that's like she doesn't know what she's upset but she doesn't know why. That's the market is. The market's just a drama queen all day long. It's up, it's down, it's up. What's going on here, man? They keep stopping me out. Yeah, I know. I had my 34 linear weighted. Everything was doing so good. I got in right here, and then I'm like, I turn around. So my tequila buddy, he would turn around. I'm like, damn, what the fuck? The hell happened? And then look at total reversal of fortune. Oh, it's a wealth transfer, buddy. From here to here. Wow. As they clip the trees and then look at this beautiful walking down trend. This is a trend in my opinion. Now for some people that's a range. That's a 5-minute chart. Wow. That's what's so absolutely perplexing. It's like, are you trading this setup? Or did you buy here, you went here, you got out? So it's very enticing, the 5-minute chart. You're like, well, god damn, look at all these trades. Shit. Buy, gets above this thing, sell. Yeah, people probably just had pending limits up there. You can see that they got filled. That's the only thing you can see is the sell fills. But we don't know where the ask was when the market was down here. So having a buy limit here doesn't mean you got filled. Another big problem with these charts is the bid chart. This is the seller's chart, really. For guaranteed limit fills. So you know that if you had a sell limit here, they filled you. If you put one pipette above that thing, right? So if you put it above here, you had to take the punishment. And I do mean punishment. You got to be, anybody a masochist? This is perfect gig for a masochist. So you're going to put sell limits above here and you're like, hey, wait a minute. Yeah, if you can absorb, and you should absorb it. That's another thing no nonsense doesn't realize. You have to absorb the punishment. If you could absorb that punishment, man, you could have rode it all the way back to where you got in and then a little bit more, right? But then here comes the buyers again because it's down, they're buying. If it's up, they're selling. What more do you need to know on the 5-minute chart? So it's down, they're buying, right? They're buying this. They got buy limits in here. So you can just say, well, I don't feel like deciding. I know that I certainly want to buy like crazy here all week long. So I put a couple tickets down here. Even in the United States, you could do that trade. I mean, first in, first out. Yeah, let them fill the rack. Okay, whatever. Put a master stop on it. I don't even know. There's so many restrictions now. What the fuck? What are you even trading in the United States for? Jesus Christ. You wonder when people are like, well, dude, look at Bitcoin. People left this country years ago. My God. New Zealand, the whole thing. I mean, it's just like, people getting the fuck out of here. I remember when New Zealand dollar traded at 50 cents. I was like, dude, look at this trade. Fuck. That was like 10 years ago. I'm like, what's going on here? First time I saw a forex chart, I'm like, wow, that's the cheapest currency on the whole fucking thing. Australian dollar was like 70 cents, I think. New Zealand's like 50 cents. I looked at it like it was stock. Let's just buy this. That fucker went all the way to 99 cents. I swear it was going to go to a buck. I did videos on it. That fucker's going up. It's going to take out a buck. It came within a penny of a buck twice on the monthlies. Double top. I go, they're going to bust out that top. No, never. So look at that buy there. We could have bought that 5 minutes ago. Or are we buying on limits here? I think it got filled on that one little arrow. It's for peanuts. But hey, we're going up, right? Dollar's fucked. This is the fundamental argument. Yeah, look at all that money they just put in the United States. Watch what you're going to do with the market. But you don't believe fundamentals? Watch this. I know you can make that argument all day long, but just because she's looking at you doesn't mean that, dude, she's the waitress. She has to look at you and take the order. It'd be like going in the restaurant. Some guys, I think dude, she's the waitress. She's just trying to get you some food. She's just because she's being polite. I did have this waitress get in the booth with me, and I thought, what do you want, a tip? I was like, Jesus. Hey, hon. But it's so funny because my tequila buddy called the waitress hon, and she goes, Or he said honey. I guess honey's not acceptable. I ain't your honey. Like, oof, ouch. Man, he was like, I was like, okay, should we even trust that she's not spiking our food with some glass or something? Yeah, these markets, man. Look at this 5 minute chart. You honestly gonna tell me, and this could be the monthly chart, it wouldn't matter. Look at the drama of that move. I'm astounded every time. The British pound's out of control. They should outlaw trading the British pound. Look at this thing. What the hell? That's the 15-minute chart. You're making sense of that? We'll have an algorithm. Yeah, I know. You told me that earlier, but I can't believe it. Look at the half hour. You could sit here all day playing with these charts. You could zoom out. You'd be like, oh, wait a minute. Wait, this is the big picture. They told me I should always look at the big picture. Yeah, but why? Why you should never do the empowered trading thing. Well, look at this up here. Yeah, everybody's going to sell up there. We're not here yet. Everybody's going to buy down here, but are you going to buy here? I would buy here to here to here. That's max zoom out. Nice thing about MetaTrader is it is like being in Russia. You only have so many choices here. You can't do like some, well, yeah, I know NinjaTrader. You can zoom away. Yeah, you zoom out, so it's like like what the hell? I think I get 8 levels of zoom here. So you could on the 5 minute, on the 30 minute, it's a buy, right? It just went down, and you bought. The 30 minutes. Now that 5 minute chart. This is that move down on the 5 minute. I saw the ICT. I just looked at this video and just like, oh, dude, I've seen this shit a million times. And he's like, oh, he's typing shit on the screen. He doesn't talk anymore. And there's a picture of him wearing it. Like, what are you fucking? Who's the guy? Thomas Hunter, the guy that killed himself, shooting machine guns with Conan O'Brien. What the heck? Thomas S. Hunter, or whatever. Look at this pullback here. You could just go, yeah, that's my system. I pledged half hour down to buy. Well, that's really working out good for you. Yeah, I know. It's not a bad. It's a pretty bad spread here. 4 pips, 5. It's a terrible spread. Look at this Asian spread bullshit. Let's go to the daily chart. Wow, look at that thing. Anybody ever seen this pattern? This is the only pullback. Look at that. The only place to buy. Oversold. Buy. Tight stop. Great trade. And we can see the trailing stop. Amazing. So simple. Why are people losing at this? Because this is such a big move. Yeah, I get that that's a great... Oh, that's just so... Why are people doing that? I'm just going to run a trailing stop, wait for confirmation. Oh, look, I'm short. Yeah, but nobody's got a target set for down here. That's a daily chart. Now, that is a great trade. But what is it also? A reversal trade, because it's, well, here's the trap, right? On the daily, so-called trap. People that are trading a breakout of Williams. It's a Williams fractal trap. But is that a reversal entry? Are you waiting for, I'm not waiting for my indicators to catch up. The indicators were making higher lows and they're about to fucking clean this shit out. And if they take this out, Katie bar the door. Right? Every man for himself. And look at that thing just take off and just crush. Good God, man. That is just, these markets are just fantastic. Fantastically pissed off. Look at this British pound in the weekly come smashing all the way back up. Oh, that almost looks like a 618. Look at that son of a bitch. From here to here, that's like a 50. People say 50, 620. We can see all this dumb shit. Here's a top becoming a bottom on the weekly. Kaboom. Now that's a trade. You could have just said, dude, I don't have to trade for another fucking month, 2 months. And here's the trend trade, the triangle. The line chart kind of spells it out very simply. This is also a flag, a pennant, ascending, a descending, whatever. There's dojis here. How can you tell it's a doji? It's a little move. There's a doji. Here's a bunch of dojis. Kind of a bull trap, right? They did. I mean, I guess I'm pointing out the losing trade. The winning trade would be selling into that or even confirmation sell stops here, although you're taking some punishment here before you finally get paid. And here's the other daunting task is that you could accumulate a short position here by sell, sell, sell. There's only 4 sells. You got to be willing to put up with that shit. Waiting for payday. You're building a short, you're building a position in this slot, just like you built a long in here, maybe, or a short. But if you're running tight stops because the market is barely moving, buy, buy, buy. Sell, sell, sell. And even if you did all those trades, you just put yourself, as long as you're not in the fucking nanny state, goddamn lockdown fucking hell. Don't forget, you also build this structure here. You come back to here, and you built a hedge in here because you don't live in fucking lockdown hell. The fuck? Why don't they just come around and neuter people? You know what? We could cut down on deaths if you were just, you can't breathe anymore. You know, one way to cut down on deaths is make less people, just kind of thin it out to like just a cup, just me and some buddy that doesn't annoy me. Yeah, I'm looking. That's going to be. I want to run an ad though. I want to go back in the dating, and the ad's going to run. Please don't be annoying. Things I'm looking for in a partner. Not asking me the same question over and over again in a different tone, thinking I'll think it's a different question. Let's see. Deciding where you want to eat dinner. Don't ask me where I want to eat. Just we know we're gonna have to go where you want to eat anyway. So just fucking here. Just get some cliff notes for the relationship. But that's what this market is like a bad relationship. I thought we were gonna leave. No, we're gonna pull back one last time. And this is just torture. And the bulls finally got paid. And if you built a hedge in here, yeah, you lost a leg, but this move was big enough to justify it. See, that is a big enough move. It's a big enough move to justify it. What I don't think, okay, so mechanically speaking, if you just kept sell, sell, buy, I mean, here you have to be aware this hole is forming and that something's got to give between these two barriers, and eventually we're going to cave in possibly. And this is so quick and dirty, and that's like 2 weeks hard down. Wow. You knew there were buyers below here. You knew that when we were here. So I know it's this is like a month away, this trade entry. But when you're a bear and you're selling, and you got in here, or even you got in here on a stop, you have to realize the party's going to be over pretty quick. And you would have, sure, you could say, well, I ran a trailing stop, got stopped out of here, but you kind of missed out on when it was psychotically here. You just had to say, I don't know if you can keep going down. That's like, I'm asking a lot of the momentum to keep tanking. And when a trend fizzles, they don't all fizzle at the same rate. So this could be considered an uptrend, and it kind of tops out, fizzles. Maybe there's divergence here. And people are like, yeah, there's divergence. I'm waiting for the first breakdown confirmation. But everybody, even the latecomers to this move, and this is why I guess people that are looking to make a certain percentage and they got in here at this point, they're going to claim, dude, my system works, shut up. I mean, I sold here. Yeah, I'm late, but I got out here and I made money. Great. I mean, but can't we do better? Come on, can't we do better than one dumb goober trade after another? Spreads are tightening up a little bit here. We're coming into 7 o'clock. We're 6 minutes from 7 o'clock, and prices are perking up. The 5-minute charts are going to update. So I'm going to go to the 5-minute chart. The euro. Oh, the 30-minute. That's fine. We can see that little pullback. A little bit of a fill there, but not what I'm looking for. We can still. I got 8 hours to come down here. So a nice thing. It's very relaxing kind of trading style where you just like, how'd they smash it down there and fill me. I just want to take a look around the block here. All the indices and stuff. The DAX is kind of a big leading edge thing. The DAX did the same thing our market did. I mean, there's no difference. People say, "Oh, the Feds are dumping money." Oh, it used to be the D market against, but this is the euro dollar, the German market. It's all the same thing. Come on, what are you talking about? Well, no, they're flooding. Then they must be flooding it into the German market too. Because look at this top on the monthlies. Is this the trap of all traps? Come on. Takes that high out. 2-year high. They just nick that wick. And then kabloomo. Even the confirmation monthly stop entry guys made money though. Yeah, I put a sell stop in here. Probably going to clean house. Sure did. Ouch. But you have to trade it at least a year in your life on a 1-hour chart to know that this could just be a 1-hour chart. It doesn't matter that this went down that big. It only matters if you were in so fucking big that you just blew up your whole life on that trade. Too bad there's not a yearly chart in here. That's the only thing that's kind of missing. And I'm sure you get a synthetic one going, but we'll just zoom out in lieu of that issue. So that is over. That is, dude, that would kaboom, the end of the month just came. This is the beginning of the month. Wow. I think we just set a new bar for volatility there. The end of the week is coming. We're in the middle of the week, but the end of the month. So these are not, you can't do, people do cycles, I know, but they're cheating because you can't do perfect overlays. It's not at 30 days in each month. It's not a perfect world. There's Sunday, there's holidays, there's fucking all this bullshit. Just bullshit. So really, prices do matter. I think this is the weekly zoomed out, and this is the DAX. But look how we ricocheted off of this, and I know that No Nonsense guy doesn't believe that this is a double top and that this thing nicked into here. Plus, the people that don't think that there is liquidity below this wick. They must be kidding. That was not a bad trade. Like, you came ripping all the way back to that floor. That is the daily chart. This low. In max zoom out. So here's a classic scalp. You're going to buy below this wick and trade back up into it. You know, on the 4-hour, same thing. You're going to buy, but this is a narrower channel on the 4-hour, so you're going to buy the smash below this wick, and when it comes back to there, you're out. But then the drift, you can ride it to this last known. This would be the doji. Is anytime you see congestion. Wave 4 is doji. Wave 2 and Elliott waves doji. All the same thing. It's not. It's really kind of like you're reading into it because you saw somebody put a 5 moving average. These courses people sell. It's just harebrained shit. Like, we have a 20 moving average, a 50, and 100. The 100's the big trend. What? Dude, I got time for what the fuck? That thing ain't changing for like 100 days. What am I gonna do now? What am I gonna do today? Well, yeah, you put it on the 1-minute chart. So you put a 100 moving average on the 1-minute chart. Then maybe you can actually say, I can see some trades. But you just can't throw shit on there like that's 200. That's what all the investors look at. How are they doing? How are the investors doing? How are the trend traders doing, by the way? Of course, what do you consider a trend? Flash crash? It's a bear market, can't you see? Don't you know the rules of a bear market? When the Dow Jones is down 20% in a quarter of 5 months of a period. I used to look like the 52-week high. I'm like, is that a rolling thing? 52, I guess it's a bracketed 52 framing of the market. 52-week high. Okay. How much is that a share? Well, it's Berkshire Hathaway. It's about that's about the price of a house. It's about $60,000 a share. You want to buy? Oh, I don't know. I think I'll buy like Rite Aid at $5 a share. I wonder, did Rite Aid do good? Did any of these manufacturers? That's another thing that there's such a index selling that they're getting sold by you know proxy kind of just the whole weight of the market. Even though fundamentally Rite Aid should be going up because they've got all those toilet paper and alcohol and water, the staples of life. I suppose so. Walgreens, right? But I'm not going to waste my time digging up the Walgreens chart to prove fundamentals and go, see. Only because maybe every stock sold off. I don't know. But sector rotation. So yeah, there is a transfer. There's always a transfer of wealth. There's always sector rotation. Gold, this. I don't know if I went to gold last time. Here's the S&P 500. The infamous, I'm sorry, this is the Dow 30. So yeah, the scalpers have had their fun. It's over. Now we got to drop down to the 4-hour chart and look for a trade. It looks just like the other market. Look at the pullback here. Look at the buy low. I can't do it with these scripts, but look at New Zealand. Look at the weekly madness here. Gee, I can't believe people bought below that wick. I know, it's crazy. Why would they? Because the people that bought here are actually up on that trade right now. They bought that whole plunge. Those big black lines are 100 pips. Australia, New Zealand, what a battle, huh? Look at that thing. I think people are closing out that trade. That trade to me is over. That whole cycle's been met. I'm going to put my fancy template here. I'm going to use my secret weapon, the 34 linear weighted moving average template. So, yeah, look at the sell right there. So I tell you, it works. And but you would have taken this trade if you had really kind of like low criteria. But the spike above. So here's where the robot fails. We're spiking above, but the moving average is kind of, we should only be trading for the long side with my rules. And so I'm tortured to see these poor people in the no nonsense forum who built some algorithm. I could make this thing. I mean, I could only put up currencies that make this look like the best trading system in the world. But you'd say, yeah, dude, you're kind of like cheating there. You're cherry picking that one. Yeah, I sold because it's above. But this is a flatline moving average. This just negated your whole trade. And these might have been good trades. Look at it, went all the way to here. I mean, it did hunt this guy out. He's all pissed off. He's like, damn. And then it went ripping up. I knew it was going up. Because because the 100 period moving average said you could trade. It's okay to trade from long side. It's just giving you permission to trade like dumb shit trades. It's okay to go long here. Yeah, how'd that work out? Well, I don't know that 34 linear way. I don't like this system now. But it worked out here. Did you take this trade? No, because it's kind of spooked after what happened to me in the last trade. Well, don't you know the market makers are ripping this up and down to fuck with your moving average and every other moving average? Well, this looks like a nice buy here at the market on the euro. So I'm just going to ride. I'm in a little bit, but I'm going to buy more in a pulse back. It's always in the process of I don't think the fear of missing out doesn't occur to me when I put a buy limit here 5 pips deep. I think they're probably filling me, especially if it lasts for a month. Imagine a monthly expiration of buy here. You think we could go down there on the Australian, New Zealand on the weekly? Well, of course, the weekly chart, right? We could come back to this price. We could end up with a double bottom. You could get in there. And you could ride that up. It's kind of like a bottomless pit. I mean, the view that these people give you is that, I got this trading system. Okay, well, maybe you want a system. Maybe you're a system trader. All right. Maybe you're an indicator trader like no nonsense, but you cannot die structure. I know you can drive with you can put on those orange U2 goggles. He has Bono goggles. God, I really want to buy at the market here, so I can start twisting my arm by a little bit with different stops and everything. Yeah, Euro's going to take off like do a little bounce house here. It looks like we're going to do a little pop through there. I'll sell into this though. So I'll put my sell limits in this pocket. All my sell limits stop right here. And buying on the clock, I didn't have to buy at the market because I put very shallow limits in. So it's like playing guitar, you know. Just because you're fretting this neck, if you put really thin gauge strings on, you can't squeeze the neck on every chord because you'll be out of tune. So if you're trading really big as opposed to really small, it changes how many tickets you put in there. Just like a bunch of notes really quickly on the guitar is hard to play. So you could play a chord and strum it. You're still hitting the notes. Okay, maybe you're not picking individual notes, but so there's a way around it. So this is like a strumming. All these limits is kind of like, you know, it's like a power chord, I suppose, but it's all down the neck, all the way. And however you want to have a metaphor or analogy for it to make it okay to trade, because in the end you got to feel like you can relax, and anything that happens, you're okay. You're never thinking, oh God, Jesus Christ, I bought a restaurant just when this Corona thing started. I've invested my life savings in this goddamn such a cute little boutique restaurant, and me and my wife built it. So I know this couple that did that. And I met them I thought, God, am I in Disneyland? These are the cutest they had a little kid, and he was on the spectrum. Isn't that cute? And they had a coffee shop. Aw. And, I mean, I wasn't complaining. I had coffee and we chatted and laughed our asses off, but I knew that it was the most, man, all the economy had to do was take a dippity do. And it actually did. It was through 2008, so that probably didn't help. People came in the coffee shop and they were broke. Stocks had sold off just like they just did now, but it took longer. You know, it's like about a slow bleed of like 4 months of down instead of 4 weeks like this. This flash crash is just so obvious. And yeah, so any rally from now on, they will say, well, the dollar's fucked, but the dollar index could go up and all this could go up. This is my view of the markets. If there's a lot of volume, things are going to move. Just like when stocks sell off, the spread tightening is the bidding up of anything. So as stuff, and then when there's no volume in there, the spread gets wide. But that's my theoretical view that when people gush into a market, whether they be selling or buying, because you know people are selling gold to you to buy it. When volume picks up, it may be going up in price. It's called open interest in the commodity market. Yeah, because look at cocoa. I watched cocoa all the way down to 300. Now it took off like a rocket. That in gold. And at that time, I had this company called Full Compass Data, and they would build perpetual charts for me for $50 a month. They'd literally mail me a 3.5-inch plastic floppy, and I would load these on, and I would get out my oh God, I think the software. It came with something called Navigator, software I ran to look at the charts, you know. And I'd studied candlesticks, and I'm probably about this time about $3,000 in the trading books, and been a couple meetings, you know, symposiums, whatever, clinics, and all these things, and talked to traders and met people that wrote books, and like, oh yeah, I've studied up on this because that's what we do, you know. We make sure that we're informed and have our tools and everything. And it's kind of it's good, but it's bad because then it makes you figure, well, you know, I've done my homework, therefore I should be qualified to trade. Not necessarily, because you know the architect's plans. You build a building, you're like, oh my God, I guess the ground's not as stable as we thought, and so now the structure is kind of tilted. Now you got to go MacGyver on it, try to find some kind of patch job, and maybe it turns out for the better. So, and that's where you have to have the flexibility, which this system gives you because you're like, okay, it's okay, I got it. That's all right. They stopped me out. I'm not gonna get upset. And that's what demo accounts intended for is it's like a rent a car. You can beat the shit out of it. Okay, yeah, there you go. You gotta have some surrogate. You have to have a stunt account because if you're gonna try something out new, or you are gonna try to let a robot trade the account, which I just cringe every time I think about letting a robot. Um, Unless I knew that it was the criteria why it was doing the trade. So far, I haven't been able to get one of these robots to behave in the way that I think that it should behave. But the static approach of just having a fixed risk. I mean, this makes it so that okay, it's like the mileage of your car. You get bad mileage, okay, until your car gets good mileage, or you stop going places you don't need to go. It's so cute. The German cars say in the owner's manual, try to organize your trips so that you. No American cars. The American cars like drive the car, shut up, call us if something breaks, or don't call us if something breaks. It's so cute how the Germans have like a first aid kit on board. Like, yeah, you might fuck up. Americans are like, nah, nice hard steering wheel. You lose your teeth on. There you go. A muscle car. Yeah, the Americans are a little brutish. That's why Trump's a true American. Very brutish. Very get her done. Give me that thing. Come here, you. Let me show you something. I'll show you what Corona looks like. We need to have a grudge match, one of those claymations with Pelosi and Trump. I'm sure that's already out there. But no, it's just the longer the world goes and the more people there are in it. So they say stuff like, there's 3,000 dead people. Dude, there's 300 and I guess I'm too old. There's 320 million fucking Americans. When I was a kid, there was like, 100 million people. 100 million people. Holy shit. That's 3 times that. Okay, we could spare a few. I'm ready to go. I'm not going to, I don't want to be in pain, but I'm good. My bucket list is done. I'm ready to go. So maybe I'll just hit by lightning this year. Those lightning tests are like, we couldn't even get them to the hospital. I mean, at least these people on a respirator, stop your whining. Come on. People that get hit by lightning don't even like, they're just like, oh, fuck, I'm done. That didn't work out. Ouch. Yeah, no, it's just only people that are alive fear dying. And that's the objective view of it. And only people that are in the trade shit their pants. So if you're not in the trade, you're watching from the sidelines, and that is a position in the market. Alexander Elder says that not being in the market, there's 3 positions, long, short, and flat. So being flat, there's nothing wrong because my exposure on limits is so big, and I could check in with it. If it's real money, I'm going to check in more than if I'm experimenting on the demo. But I don't think experimentation is ever going to be a bad thing, and trial and error. So trial and error is a better system than planning out like, oh, well, we're waiting for a certain astrological signal or final confirmation on our system here, and it's called the Astrological Fund. People love this shit. How about the Theranos girl, the deep voice girl? Blonde hair, blue eyed, never blinks. One drop to test all the blood on the planet. We just need a little sample in our little microcapsule. I've watched as much of that as Scientology. Most fascinating story in the world. Bill Gates is on board. Warren Buffett, yeah, I'll sign up. Oh, she's so bright. And for a woman to be so smart. I'm not saying there's not smart women because look at all the broke guys out there. But look at this Theranos bitch. Jesus Christ. She had no fucking hiding. Oh, I can't have it. The guy's coming to change light bulbs. Well, you can't see what we're doing. They're not doing shit. Conned every fucking big money, and then she just like say all these profound. You ever see the movie Being There with Peter Sellers, where he just says dumb shit and people think it's so profound? Oh, that's so deep. What the fuck happened to people? They still think that shit. Oh, CNN says that Trump said that it was a hoax, the virus. That's not what he said. So not only do you live in a world where it's like bullshit news. This is why people think. I think people think the markets are fake. Like these are not real moves. Like, so I had this girlfriend for 7 years, and she thought that the markets were. There was literally somebody in my computer moving the prices and fucking with me, and we had to break up. So I was like, I don't think so. She's like, oh, it's just, oh, I'm like, you're gonna have to move out. I don't think we can be like watching a movie together anymore. I don't know what's going on in your fucking head. And she was really quiet, so I'm like, you're not saying anything. Are you like planning like back in the day you could have insurance policies, life insurance policies on life insurance policies on people that without them knowing. Can you imagine that? I think it's illegal now, but who the fuck? The insurance companies must come up with that. Who came up with that? I think insurance companies, it's kind of a weird game they play. They kind of like try to get that perfect bell curve for like what they think could happen. And of course, really bad shit's not covered. Like your house gets hit by a flying saucer. That's never covered. That shit, and they probably take out your whole family and the whole block. And you're like, oh fuck, I should have bought that umbrella policy for alien crashes. Damn it. Fucking saw me. They tricked me again. Insurance company tricked me again. Bastards. So it looks like we're going to take a little rally here. Anyways, I'm going to go back to watching the Corona drama here. I was looking at the stats. Oh, I want to look at gold, sorry. How's Boeing doing? Let's see it stabilize. So I would put buy limits in and stream them all the way down to, how about, the cool thing about Medtrade, I think you go to 0 on this chart. How about 18? Would you buy it at 18? Yes, I would. Is anybody got a buy limit at 18? I'm sure somebody does. Why not? Oh, that's preposterous. We're never coming back. Yeah. Never say never. This gets smashed down. This is the dollar yen. But see, we've reached equilibrium now. We've come all the way back to, it's like we never moved. This is the torturous thing about the market is, look, we're back to here. Oh, well. That is some drama. That is severe drama. But yeah, I'd buy this all the way down, sure. But it's out of sync with my other trades, so I kind of anticipating a plunge of the euro into my tickets, in a very narrow window and a wide window for the long-lasting tickets. So the longer, the deeper, the longer the expiration. I'm sure people are all giddy about gold. And No Nonsense Guy says that, oh, you can't even touch it at this price. Yeah, so I just put a limit in below. You would have got it filled today. Right? I mean, you would have bought this pullback here, right, on the daily. Do you really need any kind of do you need a fancy system for this? Right? When it's up here, the price is up here, you have buy limits in gold here. So you gobble it up all the way down. No, you don't know where it's going to stop. But you know that there's going to be people bailing here, and they did, But then we go ripping up. I think the problem is trying to make money from getting on the daily train here. I mean, this here's no nonsense entry. It's up. He buys. But where's he at now? If he didn't get out here and scalp it, he holds it for the long haul. Maybe goes up here and he's like, What are you talking about? I'm right. It's not me. I couldn't do it. I want to buy this double bottom. I want to buy here too, but I want to get it before that, and I want to get out here maybe, and you can have that. To me, this is more money than where we're at on even this move. That's a lot of money. Um, Look how this could be called a fake rally. So his theory about fake rallies and everything is just so stupid. This could be considered a fake rally. Well, look, it came back and retested. Well, and this is a question. So he had this thing about the stock market. Well, is there any less supply of gold here than there was here? Well, that's the same argument. There seems to be the same amount of gold on the planet as there is here. Why is this all going crazy? Well, what's this all about? It's all just manipulation. It's so weird because, yeah, the investor doesn't want to see this shit. They just want to see a nice, steady equity curve. What's the rate of return? Nobody's ever going to see an equity curve like that unless you got all this shit to fucking behind the scenes to give you. And if it's like that, you're going to go, well, why can't it just be like this then? Why is it like this? And of course, all you got to do is zoom out, and it's going to look like this. Like all this data you see in coronavirus, all spiky. Of course, it's this move. You think it's going to keep on going like that? Let's hope it does. Like I said, I'm over it. I'm ready to say bye. Bye-bye. Bye now. Thanks for flying with us. Please hold your call. It's very important to us. Gold. Oh, I bought it here. Yeah, I was talking to somebody and they go, yeah, when it dropped there, I bought. I go, would you just bought like a... I didn't even say anything to them. I knew they just pulled the trigger on one big fat trade. Yeah, I got it here on gold and went lower. Should have waited. No, you should have pulled the trigger here and put in limits. That's all. Or kept pulling the trigger every fucking day it went down. Scaling, well, it's too much work, and I'm adding to a loser. Of course you are. Like there's something wrong with that? Anybody ever been married? I was adding to a loser every day. It's like I can't believe I bought another meal. I'm adding to a loser. Can anybody see the correlation here between the market and a bad relationship? And this is the key to trading is psychology. And if you come home to somebody that, so my friend, I used to talk about how you come home, if you're in a good mood, then the other person is like, what are you so happy about? I'm like, holy shit. So I have to come home and act like, oh God, everything's so fucked. They're like, oh, really? Tell me about your day. God damn it. Like, isn't there a kill switch on your ass? Can't I just reboot you? Remember when we first met? I like that song. Remember when you used to call me Senorita? Yeah, you can't do that again. I love it when you call me Senorita. Like I didn't meet you. It's a new day every day in this gold market. And that this is traders market. This is a huge, but it's going to quiet down. And I love how people are like, well, I got my algo already. I had to readjust it. The market's kind of heated up a little bit. So I decided to change my ATR levels to, I filtered it so I can't get into trade now forever. Okay. That's just like you're doing good there. Yeah, I kind of tweaked it, based on what's been happening lately. What people are saying, I did what I'm following the guy who's following ICT who says don't go to iMarkets Live. So ICT writes on the screen, don't go to iMarkets Live, guy. They're just copying my shit. Let's hope not. Yeah, it's just so silly. This is like a nice little... I think this could bounce about $4 here on gold. $8. But see, you got to change all your... Now you got to start... You could make so much money if you could trade this giant gold move. But like I said, most people, if they bought here at the beginning of the month and they got out here at the end of the month, they're like, good trade. And maybe they try to repeat that same trade with that same percentage of their account here, and they're like, um, they could have bought here and dumped, bought here and dumped, bought here, and then they get out and they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to start selling above that. And then it just goes zooming up. They're like, oh my God. And why did it do that? So that was my question. Why does this market do that? If I zoom out, I can find the answer on the weekly. So this is the wedge here, this big thing, and this is just out of reach. But there'll be so many people selling here. Oh my God. But I know the gold bug's view is, it's going to take this out and go up fucking $4,000 on gold. Really? Coronavirus just wiped out the stock market. Don't you think gold could do better than this little bounce? And look, it gave it all back. Well, it was a fake move. You could speculate all day long. If you think there's one guy pulling the trigger against a whole bunch of goobers, yeah, that's George Soros stepped in there and bought that gold. You really think that? I don't think so. I think above here we knew there was sellers that couldn't wait to get out. They've been holding this for how long? People love to get even. They don't want to lose. They bought it here. Don't forget there's a big fund out there. There's a big boy. Oh, big boys are trying. They bought here. When it got to here, they were like getting out. They're like, oh, thank God I'm not in that trade anymore. They rode it all the way down here. Fuck, they realized, oh, God, I can't believe this. I waited how many years? Finally got divorced. I got out. It's perfect timing. Got out of that trade. Bought a little Miata. Life's good. That is some volatility. That's the most amount of volatility in a while, though. Big doji, too. Look, we closed right in the middle. Monthly chart. The end of the month's over. So, yeah, you think gold's going to keep trudging up there? This chart says no. This chart says you're trapped like a goober between this high and this low for the next 10 years. I'm so sorry to tell people. Yeah, you could buy a pullback to the starting gate. You could buy here and get in. And then what, you think we're going to escape this box? Oh, we're just going to go rocketing straight up because it's the end of the world, don't you know? Maybe. But when you go to the next time frame, you're like, Yeah, let me put some chart shift on this thing. And if you made this prediction, would you really load the wagon on it? And you were, I should have loaded the wagon. I was right. I was never going to get out of this box. I could have just got in really heavy on range trades. Yeah, that's what I'll do. It's pretty tough. Here's the daily. So when you look at, here you go. Oh, wait a second. And here's the wake-up call that, okay, this may be in an uptrend. You could say, yeah, just buy on dips. So if you bought here, it came all the way back to here. Did you go, oh, geez, I should have got out here. Shit, I could have bought here, but it was going down so fast. I thought it was just going to keep crashing, and it was moving so fast. And they did that to me because they were trying to spook me out of my long position. Look how they rammed it back here and tricked me. I get that if you can see the world like that, but then you got to find a workaround for even that. And that's where the contrarian view comes in. Well, I know they're tricking me, so I'll be contrarian. That's the trick. That's it. That's what I'll do. And then I'll be the contrarian to the contrarian. I follow the guy who follows the guy who I follow. And then I'll follow that back. And it's almost like chasing your tail. So, or I'll just wait. I'll just wait for it to come back here. Retest that breakout before everything took off. Markets do that. So you waited 3 years. I'm sorry, you waited 3 months and you got in. Could be 3 years too. This pattern is exactly like this pattern, except the fact that this choppy walk back, that's a wave 4 or whatever consolidation, is a lot more frisky. I think because on a logarithmic chart, I mean, dollar-wise, you're so high. So the fact that market gold is in a $200 swing doesn't mean so much because percentage-wise, right? And yeah, it could take this lot. Now, if it takes this lot, they're going to cry over it. Bull Pony and God, I can't remember his name. They're going to say manipulation. You can already see the whining. The whiners. Where are the whiners? Can we see it over there? We have diverticulitis. What happened to restless leg syndrome? Now you got corona? Oh, you poor thing. I'd die for some just good old restless leg syndrome. What a made up fucking disease. Look at this pull back here to structure. Not quite. Nice wedge breakout. Man, that thing took off like a rocket. If you had buy limits here, they did not fill. And look at that bitch. Whoosh. That's the scalp. Because if you didn't get out here and you watched it go here, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. This is one that No Nonsense told me about. Sometimes you get a runner. Oh God, really? Sometimes she doesn't have like a communicable disease. Sometimes you can take it home to your parents. Really? Does that have it? And then look at this. We didn't get out here, and oh shit, I freaked out here and I just sold everything. I was like, damn it. Not again. Those fuckers, they just keep tricking me. I guess No Nonsense was right. And so was ICT, because ICT had a thing like, ooh, they're kind of like trying to entice people into this run. No, only you. It's just going up. You're the one putting that story on top of it. Look at this gold market. God damn. Boy, that thing's gonna calm down a little bit, huh? Yeah, Corona's over, man. The cork has popped. We've tested more people in this country than Jesus. What else? Oh yeah, the oil trade. How's that oil trade working out? That guy went short. That's not really going down, is it? Looks like 21 might be support. Well, we can go to 17. Look at that thing go. Wow. What a meltdown. Look at the weekly. I got no problem there. Strong dollar. So is it a strong dollar? Is the river rising or is the bridge sinking? I mean, really, what's going on here? And Rush Limbaugh doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. I like the guy, but I'm like, dude, what does oil have to do with stocks going down? I mean, what this here is a war. This crude oil war. That's some dumb shit politician on TV. They gotta stop having a war. It's hurting our. It's not hurting me, dude. I'm filling my car up like going, love it. Sorry, you're on the wrong side of that trade, bitch. And yeah, so the people that are structured into I mean, what is going up in sales? We won't really know till the end of the month who won. Did people buy more Coca-Cola? Did people buy more OxyContin? What is the real fallout from the shock? So we have the shock, and then we have the stats are coming in. Very funny parodies out there. Corona parodies out there, very hilarious. So you already know that people can absorb a lot of punishment. People are not as fragile, and well, maybe they are. Maybe they're just the nanny state has got them so atrophied that they can't withstand anything. So, oh, here's the infamous guppy. Look at the rip roaring moves on this puppy. Let me put my magical 34 template on here. So there you go. It's a sell. I don't know if I want to take that sell, but you got to take every trade you see. Are you a disciplined trader? Not really. That's another fallacy. There was a guy I was just listening to talking about discipline. Like what? Oh yeah, it was Michael Norman talking about the yeah discipline. Yeah, no shit. But to what? Yeah, look at this. This beats the shit out of any trend bot right here. Consolidation, sideways ranging. Range traders that have a particularly snug stop, they're trading this whole time on the daily. Oh, buy, sell, buy, sell. And did the trend traders really? Yeah, the trend traders would have sold this rally below this line, but the velocity here is so high. Wow. Look at the punishment when they took out these lows from September of last year. And when you look at the 15-minute chart on gold when this is happening, look at that wick. You can't tell me that this wick is not caused by the fact that you touched this double bottom on the monthly. That's a daily chart. So it is complicated and it's not. So it's just like a guitar. It's only got 6 strings, but once you start fretting it, you got all these different notes and you can bend notes and you can wiggle notes. And it's just a very complicated situation. I mean, even a harmonica gets really, you can bend the reeds, you can blow, you can suck, you can do all sorts of shit with even a few tickets. I think the placement matters. So if you got 12 tickets in there, and you can absorb a range, you have to be able to absorb it. I mean, I have to be able to absorb it. I cannot pick. I don't know. I don't know the best entry. There's no optimal trade entry. There's optimal trade entries. There's trading every day, trading once a week. There's frequency of trading, and there's dollar risk of trading. That's all I can see. I don't really see the need to get really good at a Gartley and go, oh, I can spot a Gartley a mile away. I mean, great. Now what? And maybe you missed, maybe you're like, oh, I don't know. Because, the news is coming out, and I just, then why are you technical trading? And that's another thing I don't understand about No Nonsense. He claims he's a technical trader, but he's telling people, like, if there's a news event, don't trade. Well, why would that make a difference? Oh, that news event fucked up our chart. What the fuck are you doing on that chart that you didn't think the market was going to move around? It'd fuck your chart up? Then you knew Empower Trading had their head up their ass when they said, well, did anybody chart get messed up from the NFP report? What? Messed up? What are you doing with your charts that you think that the market's not going to fucking do something? Well, I planned everything out. I've examined the market. Don't you know what a Gartley is? It's so ridiculous. People love this shit. That's why they're all fucking... I see these people at the store with the mask. I'm like, dude, you got to stay home. If you got to wear a mask to buy ice cream at the store, you just got to stay home. In fact, you'll be shot on sight. I think it should just be a law that if you're wearing a mask, obviously you're afraid of dying. Let me just alleviate that fear by just blowing your head off with a double-barreled shotgun. How do you feel now? I feel relieved. Got rid of my sinus congestion too. Yeah, you just gotta go. You just gotta find another planet. So that's my 2 cents. Now, anybody trade the CAD yen? I mean, these markets are. Look at this shit. Well, I have a trend system for this. One last attempt to use my. Oh shit! No trades here. Good sells here though. I don't even know why you don't trade the system. And look at this sell. Yeah, I know. But look at this sell. And here it's like, oh, I guess we could buy here. Yeah, you could have bought there. But you got to take that chunk out. You ain't selling here because you think it's going to go to here. Because it's going to come all the way back to here. And you're going to be like, I spent how long in that trade again? That's the weekly chart. Well, you're in the trade for a year, sir. And then, you said you wanted to get out and take something. I mean, you needed to go get some more toilet paper. And, we knew there was a corona crisis. You can see right here in the chart. CAD versus yen. And we all know the yen is Asian currency. I like how people make those kind of... Don't the rabbit hole that people go down with the... Well, can't you see here? The corona thing is just a setup right there, see? You know it. That's why you need the 100 moving average, because you would have just taken all these cells. You would have been tricked by this whipsaw 34 moving average. Goes on and on, right? It always comes down to like, well, do you want to make money in the next 8 hours or the next 8 days? And how can you position yourself in any market? Okay, so once you realize there's probably about 20 trade plans that would have worked on this chart just perfectly if they were sized right, the stop was appropriate. In a perfect world, there's 10 systems would have made the same amount of money here, given that you contoured each trade plan to maximize that one strategy. So people say, what's your strategy? I would say multiple strategies. I mean, I can perceive volatility on a bar by bar basis, plus I can see the structure. And I guess you could lean on this moving average, but it doesn't get you... It makes it hard to scale in because this is like a signal service, like buy, sell, buy. I mean, that is just so goof. This is more like gender dysphoria. You're a boy, you're a girl, you're a boy. You're 80% boy, now you're 60%. This is like not something people want to do because they don't want to think that it's and they don't want to be flexible. Tonight they're going to dress up like a gorilla. Next night they dress up like a rhinoceros. Do it, make up your mind. So that is also why people are disturbed by the price, because they're like, make up your mind. Are you going up or down? I thought we were going up. I designed this system to perceive trend, and it said I got confirmation to go along, and then they refer to this as the fuck you bar, the fuck you candle in no nonsense Discord, because they just blew out their trade. They took them out. Everything was queued up, and I've been scanning for an entry. It's not Star Wars. I mean, this is not like a weapon. It's a war room. Weapon systems. I got scanners. I got radar. I've done all that stuff, but I have to say, in the end, it seems to be every day you're confronted with price action or price movement. The market's dead, which some people find to be... They want something to happen to give them like, it looks like we're going up, but it already went up. So shouldn't you get in? So it's counterintuitive. Shouldn't you get in when the market's not going anywhere and think, well, it could go somewhere. Let's see what happens. Or you don't have to be in the trade, or you're waiting for the market to smash up into your sell trap. Your trap of sell limits to trade a retracement strategy. So you're either retracing or you're trend trading, I guess in the most crudest terms of strategies. You're either looking to swing trade, which is a retracement, which is a range trade. It's all the same thing. Or you're looking to get on a fucking train and ride it. In the end, there's only two strategies, but there's a blend. You can be a range trader. So when I was trading with these guys one time on Skype, they were in a trend trade and go, I see the trend you're talking about. I got it. But I would just buy on smash downs. I would have bought on the smash down anyways for the bounce. And I would ride it a little bit longer than I normally would because I could see what they were talking about. I could see your trend. But I'm going to take my 8 pips, I'm going to take my 15 pips, and I'm going to leave. And I'm not going to build a position in one area. So I may build a position at the market when the market's quiet, but I'm not going to use that technique if I've got limits all strewn around and they're crushing into them, and I go, okay, that thing's taken care of. I know it's going to make X. And I'll make $150 on that bounce. It only took 40 minutes. And I can come back in with the same trade plan again, rinse and repeat the same dumb shit trade plan. Whereas the guy that's like, oh, wait a minute, the daily charts, I look at it every day. I'm very disciplined trader. It's like a religion. Okay, that's great. You've already got enough money. You can wait for that entry. obviously you've made enough money where you can still eat dinner and have a trading account that you don't even have. You pull the trigger once every 2 days. Great. Go with no nonsense and sit there and be like, man, you're so great. I look for it. Okay, I got it. It's a social affair. I'm just saying from a analytical, from a crude dollar like greedy standpoint of like, okay, can I make money from some of these flash crashes and some of these outlandish break and runs, and why is it running to that void, and why is it reversing at that Williams fractal or that peak moment? Why does it reverse there? And why is the reversal so hard? This is the weekly CAD yen. Look at this thing just nick that wick and then turn around and crush back. If you would have done that trade here, it only crushes to here. So maybe that's your target. And you missed out on this big giant sell-off because you're like, yeah, I'm out. Now, I guess that's a disciplined trader, but imagine you sold and you scaled out here, you scaled out here. Maybe you did have one last small position that you didn't give a fuck about. And because it moved down so much, you made the same amount of money as that initial scalp leaving the gate, the weekly chart. I mean, the weekly chart is like, phew. This is some crazy shit here at the beginning of the year, huh? 2018. And then we just took this low out. Oh my God. What an unraveling. Yeah, so be careful because the markets are on fire and you can step into some of these things and be like, wow, I used to trade with a 10 pip stop. Now I got to use a fucking 40 pip stop on this shit with the same pattern. So the pattern doesn't care about volatility. These patterns exist. Like head and shoulders could be a 500 pip head and shoulders on a large time frame, and it could be a 15-minute 15 pip head and shoulders, and that would change the whole way that you kind of force to trade it. ExxonMobil, that's my buddy bought. That's like buying crude. See, ExxonMobil came roaring off. It looks like I would have bought this pullback here because it's down at the market. Another ride to fucking 47. By the end of the week here, I mean, this is just such a harebrained coronavirus. I mean, dude, 1.2 million people die in cars every year in the United States of America, where we got airbags and all this bullshit. People are still killing themselves. Don't tell me about this. 3,000 dead Americans, 5,000. Come on, man. You got to be kidding me. There's 48,000 suicides in 2018. So, I mean, stop it. There's going to be suicides from this shit if these fuckers don't open up the fucking restaurant. I don't know. Americans are pretty tolerant, though. I mean, we're really ridiculously tolerant. And, except for myself, overly polite. The Germans are tough. They're tough cookies. They'll stand for this shit. But, I don't know. We're all going to die, so who cares, right? Anyways, that's my latest rant, so to speak.